Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Lucid's 2022 Tournament Game 4, where we are playing Nazca. This is turn 27, and we're a menace. How's it going, Otis Botus? You want in on this? You want in on this? You've been needy today. Been needy. Alright, let's jump into this turn, shall we? Right off the bat, we have received the 20 air gems from Ulm. We sent them last turn a bunch of gems, right? A bunch of fire and some nature, etc., etc. The fire was for a bunch of lightless lanterns that are going to be coming in the next couple turns, right? As Ulm is able to forge them. The earth that we sent, the 20 earth, is for this 20 air, was just an exchange, right? Which I am very happy about. Getting loads of air is going to allow us to mass produce a bunch of condors and give us the opportunity to kind of try to play catch up with our military might. You're rotten. You're rotten. And then the nature gems were for some, I believe, boots of the messenger. So, anyways, that is that. We're happy to have that happen. We did some site searching in Nazca, apparently. I think I misclicked or something like that while I was doing re-messing with some things in the previous turn. He's tapping. So I think I actually had one of our Huron priests site searching in Nazca, which is unfortunate. That is a wasted turn, but, I mean, it happens. It is what it is. No big deal. We got a bunch of fights to watch this turn. We're going to start with ours, and then we'll report on them, and then we'll go back and watch the previous ones and see if we get any fun, good information. So we're just going to go down the line. What do we got here in Ironwood Forest? So this is our hero, Pachacuti, the Inca Chapak, or Quapak. I do not know how to pronounce that. Kitted out as he has been previously. Choppy. Chop today. But this should be basically no issue at all. This should get soloed by this Earth Elemental. In point of fact, it looks like the Earth Elemental is going straight for... Ooh, the Earth Elemental is on fire. Oh. Didn't matter. He just walked up and squished the guy. Can he even burn? Yeah, I mean, he can burn, but he has regeneration 10, so it's unlikely for him to actually burn. That was the thing. Okay. I love this retinue that Pachacuti has. It's so cool, and in point of fact, I wish more vanilla commanders had little retinues like this, right? I think this is a very powerful retinue. I think this is maybe a bit more than most should have, obviously. But I wish there were more, or I wish it was more common, because I do think there are several vanilla commanders that do have retinues, but I wish it was somewhat more common. In a lot of like mods that I play, you see things like this, so I guess I'm just kind of growing used to it, and I really enjoy it. It's nice. Okay, so that was that battle. Easy win. In Forest of Pine, we attacked Ashdod. This was a known quantity, though. Well, I say it was a known quantity. We reached out to them and said, hey, can we take our cap circle back? And they were like, yeah, whatever. You know? Like, so it's possible that they were like, we're gonna do something about that, right? Like, it's possible that they PD dumped or threw something at us to fuck us up, and if they did anything, it probably would destroy what we've got. But they didn't. So, nice of them to not be overly concerned about our coming back into the game, because we're not really coming back into the game. In point of fact, like, just this amount of PD almost gave our Hot Runa some trouble, so. Yeah, alright, there we go. Easy win there. And then we also attacked in the Royal Green, and this is with our actual army. Let's see if we were up against anything. No, not really. So, this should be an easy victory. We should drop on the back. Full envelopment. Nice. That's what we want. Okay, so cool. Those were our battles for the turn. So, battles, we have versus Agartha, 2 wins and 0 losses, and versus Ashdod, 1 win and 0 loss. So, nice. Very nice. Happy about that. Getting a little bit of territory back is going to be good for us. Get a little bit of income, be able to try to flex some positioning here. Maybe we can do well with, you know, our partner Ohm against Agartha. Maybe we can springboard back into something. Could be cool. We're always going to be a junior partner in that type of situation, but you know, we're still in the game. We're still plugging along, so is what it is. Let's watch battles between Ashdod and Van. Ashdod attacking Van in the Desert Divisions. Decent little Sheshai squad here, it looks like. Couple of long dead, couple of buffers, point buffers. We got some luck coming out. Interesting. This is nothing. This is nothing. Just gonna get chopped. Maybe lose some long dead if they get unlucky. Nope, lost nothing. Okay, Ashdod also attacking in Ulier. And this is the big army with most of the Ahimen and a couple of Sheshais. And a good portion of Rephite, long dead Rephites. And this is against even less PD. So this is not going to matter. I'm really curious as to what Vanheim is going to do, right? So, to my understanding of the situation, they did lose some long deads here. That's funny. To my understanding of the situation, we'll talk more about this on the... Actually, let's just talk about it now. To my understanding of the situation, Van is not the aggressor in this war, but kind of somewhat the instigator in this war. Or perhaps both sides were just being unwilling to negotiate or something like that. But to my understanding, Van was unhappy with the negotiations and then decided to just take something back or something along those lines. Again, this is where like Dominion's diplomacy and reporting on things can get a little sticky because it's hearsay, right? Like I was not a part of the discussions. I don't know exactly what happened. So I don't want to try to paint either player in a negative light. Regardless though, right? These two players or these two factions, right? Ashdod and Van seem to really have it out for each other now. And it looks like Van is doing the typical Van thing of kind of raiding around, but avoiding this big Ashdod stack. So I'm very curious as to, because Van's gonna have to do something about it eventually, right? And I'm very curious what that something is potentially going to be, right? I don't know how good Ashdod's research is. They do have to be careful, because if they're going up against Van, you know, with basically researchless Ashdod versus researchless Van, they're Anakites. Let's take a look at this real quick. So these Anakites are really good units, right? Obviously, they're very stalwart, and they hit really hard. The problem with them is, or one of the problems with them is they're size 5, so they're 1 per square basically, and they only get 2 attacks per square. And while they hit really hard, they don't have especially high attack skill. They have good attack skill, don't get me wrong, right? But they don't have especially high attack skill. I do think his bless. Let's take a look at his bless real quick. I do think his bless has some attack in it, so they should be a little higher. Yeah, attack 2. So these Sheshais are 15, for example. And if he has any ranks on any of his Ahimen, which he probably does at this point from killing me, you know, and it's likely they're sitting at like 15 to 16. The thing about that is, though, is against Vans, who have a base defense of 19. and you can pack their size 3, so you can put 2 of them into a square versus a single Anakite. It can be really difficult for the Anakite to hit the Vans, right? With the few attacks that they have. And then the Vans have multiple attacks, 6 attacks, right? Well, I guess not 6 attacks, because the Javelin is ranged. It's 4 attacks, right? Versus the Anakite's 2 attacks. And yeah, they hit significantly less hard, but they have a much higher chance of actually hitting, right? Which means potentially cutting or chipping down the Anakite. And that's why the Anakite that's why Ashdod has the Blood Bond regeneration, right? So in a vacuum, what you have going on is a very low chance for an Anakite to actually hit a Van, but when they do, they'll probably kill that Van. And then you have a much higher chance of the 2 Vans versus the 1 Anakite hitting that Anakite successfully, but having a difficult time getting through its armor, and when they do chip damage, it being not negated, but it being decreased by Blood Bond and then regenerated through, right? So that can be a tough thing to kind of get around. The issue, though, is Ashdod's basically working off of Anakites. Van doesn't have to work off of Anakites. They also have, or Vans, they also have Einhirs. And Einhirs, you can pack 3 into a fucking square, and these guys hit like trucks, right? These guys hit like trucks with Berserker 5, so if they take damage at all and it doesn't kill them, they are going to butcher a giant, right? So I assume, I do not know this, but I assume that Van is content to raid Ashdod with their Vanhirs and Vans, while they put together a sizable enough force of Einhirs to fight against this Ashdod, Anakite death stack. So Ashdod has to have an answer for that, right? Like that has to be the assumption, because that's the only thing out of the gate that Van has that can definitely beat Ashdod, especially since Ashdod has a light shock resistance bless, right? So that's the obvious move for Van. There are other options Van could take to try, because he has to win in the field. He has to beat the Ashdod army. He can't just raid Ashdod forever. But if again, that's not the only option that he has, but that's the obvious option that he has. Meaning that Ashdod has to do something about it, right? He either has to shut down Van's ability to produce Einhirs, which I would assume it's too late at this point, right? The war has been going on for several turns now, and I'm assuming Van's just been mass-producing Einhirs since the very beginning of it, going, okay, I'm going to need to chop up some giants, let's go. So that means, alternatively, Ashdod has to figure out how to fight them with magic, right? And the scenario there is potentially maybe like not mass protection, wooden warriors, right? So wooden warriors could be a decent pickup, throwing on enough additional protection into the already reasonably high protection Anakites, right? They're already 9 protection with 3 natural protection. So you give them a base of 10 natural protection. It's not going to go up by 7, but it is going to go up by probably like 6 or so. They'll be sitting around like 25-ish protection, I believe. And that's pretty good, right? That's going to be a fair amount of damage negation. Now, obviously, the alternative is they can get Van can stack things like Strength of Giants, and then that starts to get a little negated. But then again, you do things like Legions of Steel on the Anakites, and that helps. It's kind of like an arms race, right? The only issue is Legions of Steel very easy. Oh no, it's not an issue. Legions of Steel very easy for Ashdod to do, and oh no, I'm thinking of the wrong. This is difficult for Ashdod to do. I think I'm thinking of Hinnom has the Nature 2s that I was like, you could easily do Wooden Warriors with those, but I don't think Ashdod has that. Ooh, so that's sketchy. So I guess the alternative there is to say, okay, well, what are your other options? Body Ethereal, a fair amount of Body Ethereal on your front line can kind of like do that. The issue there is that it's difficult to stack Body Ethereal on Giants because you only get one per square. But even then, right, if you can get like hold an attack, if you can get 5 Body Ethereal casters there, you can get, you know, a couple casts, 2 to 3 casts off before they actually run and get out of range. So you're looking at like 10 to 15 Anakites that have Body Ethereal, and they'll be very difficult for the Einhairs to actually take out. Then there's also things like, obviously, like the Einhairs don't have magic weapons, so elementals can do really well against them. Probably like air elementals and fire elementals primarily. Fire elementals should be very, very easy for Ashdod. Air, do they even have air? Probably not. Doesn't look like it. I don't think I like Ashdod as much as I do Hinnom. Honestly, I feel like Hinnom has better options. They do have a god with nature on their path, though, so that's fair. Of course, obviously, with so. Anyways, the point that I'm trying to make, my god, I am long-winded today. I apologize. The point I'm trying to make is Ashdod's gonna have to figure out, like, the obvious move for Vanheim is Einhairs, like a massive blob of Einhairs that they point buff with Strength of Giants and whatever else they can get on them, to try to chop shop these giants. So Ashdod has to come up with some way to get around that, right? Like, what can they do in response to that situation? Honestly, like, one of the best things that they potentially could do is, from an early standpoint, is maybe like a foul vapors play with their god if they can, right? And they should be able to. But if they just have to have the, you know, the research and the wherewithal to like catch them out. But that honestly would be like the big thing is if you could get a foul vapors takes a while to kill people though, so that can be a bit of an issue. But I don't know. It's Ashdod's gonna have to do something. And I'm not sure what it is. Because I don't know that Ashdod... I mean, alternatively, right? We talked about, like, what does Van have? Einhairs, right? Easy answers. Or Skin Shifters are also pretty decent answers as well, right? I think Einhairs are better. But, you know, the alternative is Ashdod could not go so hard into Anakites, right? He could go into a lot of alternatives. Gileadites, the Amorites have a poison tip spear, so they can, even if they don't kill an Einhair, as long as they hit an Einhair, they can kind of like do a good job. And they can, all of these, by the way, have a decent chance of repelling, right? Length 4 weapons. So they can do pretty well at repelling the Einhairs, so that's pretty good. Anyways, just random stuff, stuff that I've been thinking about, because I haven't had a lot to do myself. Sorry, I'm so long-winded right now. I'm talking about this to death. But I haven't had a lot to do myself, so all I've been doing is thinking about what's going on around me and being like, what can happen here? What should this person be doing? Etc., etc. So, So that's my 2 cents on the Ashdod-Vanheim conflict. So pretty interested to see how that goes. We also watched a battle between Ulm and Agartha. So let's see what happens here. So this is one of Ulm's little raiding stacks, and I love the composition of this. This is, I think, how you're supposed to play Ulm. You're not supposed to play... I think, obviously, you want a big army with Ulm, but this is so low commitment from Ulm. A dozen or so black plate, a single master smith, right? Like, you don't want to just lose these guys, obviously, but they can take so much PD, and they can take a lot of regular troops, right? And win or fuck them up. And you just literally summon Earth Power, Legions of Steel, and just hang out. And it makes these guys almost all but impossible for 6-10 PD to defeat, right? If you get something like Barbs or Heavy Cav, it can be somewhat more of a concern. And there's always the chance that the Master Smith does get like headshot by ranged. But this is such safe raiding. It's really, really good. I personally think. So, nothing much happening there, just a little bit of raiding going on. Let's move on. It's 21 minutes into this video. I apologize. Unexpected event in Bara. Ooh, okay. Local lawgiver has caught a traitor. After summary, trial, and execution, his belongings have been confiscated. So this is, I'm unsure how to report this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say from a basis, right, that, I'm gonna report this as a positive event. There is a negative effect to it, but generally speaking, this is positive, right? So we take a look at Bara, which is this province right here, and so it has 36 unrest right now, 13 income. The getting the unrest in this location is obviously painful, but even without that unrest, Bara was at most making like 25, 26, probably not even that much income. So getting 123 in gold out of this is like 6 turns worth of income from this province, which is way better than we care about the unrest, right? Like, it is totally worth it, and we get a Baneblade on top of it. So, this was something I've been kind of like thinking about or worried about in doing the reporting that I have been doing in the game up until this point. Is that there are plenty of events in Dominions that are a little questionable on whether they're positive or negative. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to plan for the concept of, generally speaking, was this a positive event or a negative event? And this one was definitely more on the positive side than negative, even though it had a negative component. So, anyways, that is the only event that we had this turn. We're very happy to get the extra gold. Baneblade is kind of whatever, but you know, we'll see what we can do with it. And yeah, that's it. So events this turn: 0 negative, 1 positive. We got gold plus 123. We got unrest in Bara plus 18, and then we got a Baneblade. So cool. All right, let's pop back in. We are starving in the Royal Green. Okay, that's not great. What are we doing this turn? Well, you can see we've got a lot of arrows going in various attacks, including attacks against Yes. So I talked to Yes. I reached out to Yes to kind of explain my situation to them and ask them about theirs. And they are losing the war against Pelagia pretty badly. The way that they explained it. Which is unfortunate, right? Because I believe Oceania is also losing the war, or basically has already lost the war. Meaning that we're probably about to have a very strong Pelagian neighbor pretty soon. which is unlikely to be good news for us. So what we want to do is we want to try to go ahead and lock down that coastline as quick as we can. And I did reach out to Yis and say, hey, I would like to take these lands back if it's cool with you. But if you need them to be able to resist Pelagia, go keep them, right? And their answer was basically that they did not think it mattered at this point, and that I was free to take them back. So we're going to try to do that this turn. We're attacking into Noranthian with Pachacuti. This is possible that we bump into something from Pelagia. I think Pachacuti is pretty well set up to defend himself. He's going to be very difficult for someone to kill unless they are specifically designing to try to kill it. It'll be very difficult for someone to randomly kill him. But he might not be able to kill what he's going up against, so he might just rout after a while. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully he does well. And then this one I'm actually less sure in, and that's the werewolf. We're sending the werewolf in with the Baneblade, actually, because I figured why not. The issue here is we're still using the wolves, and we probably shouldn't be using the wolves, but I don't know. I'm somewhat hesitant to just send in the werewolf right now because they only have protection 6, even though they do have invulnerability 15 and regeneration 10. They can get just pounded down by PD, and I do think there is 6 PD here from way early on when Yis took it. So I'm somewhat concerned there. We'll see if we're able to take it, but I think what's likely to happen is that the wolves die and the werewolf routs because of it. But we'll see. So there is that. Other movements or other attacks, we are attacking into Neefel. Basically, I've discussed things with Agartha. We're going to try, or I say with Agartha, with Ulm. We're going to try to take this border. Ulm is going to try to focus on taking this territory, right, including Agartha's capital. And then there's other stuff over here that I'm going to try to use my mobility to get to try to, one, lock down, but also try to see if I can snag and, maybe not only help my alliance partner, but also maybe get myself a little bit more so that I can try to get back in this fucking game. As unlikely as that seems to be. But first is we're going to hit Neefel. And this is also to try to keep our army in range. There's this kind of like little dance happening around Rim Mountains, I believe, where Ulm has a pretty big army and Agartha has a big army in the area. So I want to try to stay close by just in case Ulm's like, hey, can you hit this province for me? To try to cut off retreats, and that way I can actually try to do that. If it's safe for us to do, right? Because obviously, if we're unsure of what we're going to be facing off against, we don't want to just die, basically. So there's that. We're also moving scouts. I've been making a lot of scouts the last several turns. We're moving a bunch of scouts all over the place because I'm trying to see these fucking battles. I'm not really doing anything, so I'm trying to see battles between these other players, between Ashdod and Van, between Agartha and Ulm, to see if we can actually watch some fun stuff, because what I'm doing is pretty basic. so there's that. Aside from that, we're just moving into other locations, reinforcing our new Hatenruna capture point and our capital. So easy peasy. Let's talk about recruitment real quick. We are doing, I'll just pop it up here. Recruitment, we're doing a Huron Priest, 1 Scout, and then 4 Sun Guard. So we got that going on. And this is all pretty self-explanatory, right? Again, we still want a lot of Scouts because I'm not doing anything else. Might as well. 25 gold is still worthwhile for us to see things around us. Huron Priest is basically our most effective battle mage, and with what we're going for on research, evocation, right, we want more Deathcasters, right? Would it be cheaper for us to grab some Aklas? Yes, absolutely. Is a Huron Priest going to be a better combat caster for us? Yes, absolutely. Do I think I need combat casters? Yes, absolutely. I assume Ashdod or Van, whenever one of them gets the upper hand, they're going to turn to me. And if that is not the case, I'm assuming a Pelagia is going to come after me, or an Agartha army is going to come after me, or Olm's going to eat Agartha and then come after me. Like, I need to Shadow Blast some people. Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. Let's go. So we need as many Shadow Blasters as we can get. And after that, right, we're going to be going up enchantments. And we'll need as many freaking Horde of Skeleton casters as we can get. Our Huron Priest is way, way better for a battle caster than our Aklas are. So we're going to try to go that route. Even though this is going to slow... We're going to have less gold to use, right? We are going to have more research out of the gate, but we will probably have less research in the long run because of this, because if we're continuing to get things, more expensive things, and we're not building infrastructure and producing cheaper Aklas, then we're not going to have the research to catch up on things. But again, I'm making these expectations that I'm going to be dead by turn, we'll say 40 at this point, because it's going to take a little while for some of this stuff to resolve. But I'm still trying to make sure that when the fight comes, I can actually fight. So, we'll see how it goes. So that's that. Yeah, pretty easy peasy. Special Nazcan recruits, right? Nazcan recruits. We have 2 Supayas and 25 Hatenruna. So there's that. I don't know why I said that backwards. Whatever. I'm not. I was literally sitting about here thinking, like, do I change that? No, I don't think I changed that. So I said those in reverse order. Whatever. Our little Hatenruna capture point in Miratrand is firing. We're just, trying to stack up enough to continuously patrol things down. So hopefully in the next couple turns we'll actually start producing Hatenruna that we can use to actually go do things with, which will be nice. Fingers crossed. We'll see how it goes. Anything else? Oh yeah, we have one ritual, summon condors, and that's that. I was really considering this turn, by the way. We have a pretty decent little death gem income going on right now. I was really considering just starting to spam out Dark Knowledge every single turn, and there is the possibility that is what I should be doing with one of these individuals. But part of the issue is, and this is yet another reason why I'm getting a Huron Priest, right? Is I don't have enough casters. I don't have enough researchers, right, to use the owl quills that I got from Arcocephale to research and also be. So I don't want to lose this 6 research, right? So rather than cast Dark Knowledge with this Huron Priest, we're gonna get some more Huron Priests and then hopefully be casting Dark Knowledge in the near future. So just to see if we can potentially get a tidy little death income and do something with it. See how it goes. And that's really it. I was very long-winded in the beginning about the Van versus Ashdod conflict, but that's because it's probably the most exciting thing that we can kind of see. The second most exciting thing that that is happening, but we can't really see it, is what's happening in the ocean next to us. And then, the things that are happening against Agartha, I guess, are exciting, but they're kind of like, I don't really feel like they're me-centric here, right? Like, we did our big deal against Agartha on our capital several turns ago. I don't think that we are likely to have another major conflict with Agartha unless Agartha somehow puts the hurt on Ulm, which I don't think is going to happen. I've been in communication with Ulm, like, again, we're partners, we're allies, right? Trying to take down Agartha in a good, orderly manner. So we're coordinating province maneuvers and things like that. But also, Ulm's talking to me about the things that they're doing, or the things that they're kind of like preparing with. And I think they've got a good speed on what they're trying to accomplish. So I don't think this Olmish player is by any stretch of the imagination going to like flub something up, right? I think this conflict is Ulm's conflict to lose, meaning that they have it in hand, and the only way they're gonna lose is if they do something silly. And in conversation, I don't think that that's going to be the case coming from them, because they're talking about a lot of different potential possibilities and what they're doing to counter those possibilities, etc., etc. So, I think we might have a couple of small battles on the periphery of Agartha, but I think Ulm is going to be the one to handle the majority of the heavy lifting from here on, which is good, because after killing that 250 freaking stack with our god, I don't think we can do that much more heavy lifting. So, yeah, that's that. Anyways, that's going to be the end of this turn. We're in a very weird state. Again, I'm trying to keep my head focused on what can we realistically do, right? With what has happened to us, with how far behind we're going to be from an economic and a research standpoint. What can we truly accomplish, right? We've gone from dead to inconsequential, trying to focus on that concept of moving ourselves from inconsequential to annoying, right? And I think we have a shot, right? I think we have a shot to do that, depending on how things go, but I think most likely Van or Ashdod is going to win against each other, and then they're going to be like, yoink! My hope is that Ulm and I can finish off Agartha in time, and Ulm is like, yeah, okay, I'm down with this Nazcan alliance, right? Like, as long as I am being Ulm, right? As long as Ulm is the one getting the lion's share, right? I would absolutely be comfortable as Ulm being like, yeah, I will keep Nazca around as kind of like this vassal assistant kind of scenario, as long as I take the lion's share, which means, right, then we could look into battle against Ashdod with Ulm's assistance, or battle against Vanheim with Ulm's assistance, or something like that. So very interested to see how those types of things pan out, but that's probably going to be 10 plus turns down the road, so we'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye, everybody. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.